Dear brothers and sisters, the saints in Christ, welcome to a new episode. We're still in the series of the Apocrypha books. Today we are going to cover the book of Tobias or Tobit or Tobias. It has a few different names. Just before I start, just to remind you that as we've seen before, that Saint Athanasius the Great, or Saint Athanasius the Apostolic, as they call him, of the 4th century, he included this book in the Apocrypha books, not in the canonical books. All right. So so which one do you follow then? All right. Anyway, we'll have like 8 points. The last one will be a KO, knockout. Number 1, who is the author of the book, and what date was it written? Traditional people, they assure they don't know who actually wrote the book, and they say definitely it was written after the time of Ezra, which is a very wrong information, as we'll see when we analyze it. Okay, number 2, what is the story actually of this book? Tobit, who is the father, and his son was named Tobias, from the tribe and the city of Naphtali, which it says Tobias of the tribe and city of Naphtali, which is in the upper parts of Galilee, which is the northern state called Israel, all right, which actually were 10 tribes were there, and in Judah were only 2 or 2.5 tribes. When he was made captive in the days of Shalmaneser, king of Assyrians. This is to be chapter 1. To be more accurately, actually he was like made captive not in the time of Shalmaneser, but of his son Sargon II, because actually Shalmaneser started the siege, then he died, and his son Sargon II is actually the one actually made the war and take the people captives. All right. The most important point out of this now, that he is, Tobias and his dad Tobit, from the northern city, northern state, and he was taken a captive in the Assyrian exile, because this will be a very big problem at the end of the the episode. Number 3, the undertaker Jew. Tobit was very much interested, like, to collect the bodies of the dead of his own, like people, like Jewish people, keep them at home until midnight, then bury them after midnight. For a Jew, by the way, in the book of Numbers chapter 19, this is when you touch any dead body, even of an animal or anything, you will be unclean for 1 week. And 2 things must happen during this 1 week. On the 3rd day, you must be cleansed by sprinkling some water that actually should be in Jerusalem, and on the 3rd day and also on the 7th day. After that, you will be clean. But if you haven't been cleansed on the 3rd day, then on the 7th day you are not clean, and you have to count again for 1 week. You go start again, and on the 3rd day to be cleansed, and on the 7th. Otherwise, you'll be unclean forever. So actually, he was doing this definitely. How he said it, could be every week. So a Jew wouldn't do this, because you will be unclean forever. And when you are unclean, there is so many stuff that you are not allowed to do. Anyway, number 4, it says that Tobias or Tobit, the father, he lent someone named Gabelius in the city of Madis 10, and it says Qantar. I don't know how to say this in English. 10 Qantar. We got here 2 problems. Number 1, in the Old Testament, we never find this Qantar as a measurement of metal, Normally it says either shekel if it is a small quantity, or it says wazna. I can't say how this is in English actually. Wazna, I would say like one weight, and normally it is at 36 kilos. But qintar is 143.8 kilos. This means what? 10 qintars means 1.5 tons of silver. He said, like he gave this amount of silver to someone in another city, about 1,400 kilometers away from where he is. And so it is huge amount, and also in your way, the highwaymen might like attack you, kill you, and take that amount of silver. So it's a very big quantity, like to send your son to bring this. It's a great danger. Secondly, we wouldn't find that this measurement style in the Old Testament at all. Okay, number 5. Chapter 5. Number 5, chapter 5. While the father was inside his tent or house, whatever, thinking how to organize someone to go with his son to get this amount of silver from the other person, his son was outside and he saw a young man like looks like going to travel. Then the son told him, how are you, mate, or how are my dear buddy? Then he asked him, whom are you? Then actually the angel said to him, my name is, I told him, I'm a Hebrew, and my name is Azariah, the son of Hananiah the Great. And he told him, do you know the way to the Madis people? He said, no, yes, I know, and I've been there many times, and even I know, when I go there, I go to my like relative or my relative, yeah, you can say, Gabelius in the city of the Madis. So actually it is the same guy that they want to get the silver from. Then he felt, of course, very comforted. Then he went straight away to his dad, and he told him, I found a guy like is going in the same way. Then the father told the son, okay, bring him over. Then he came in. Then again the father welcomed him, and then he asked him, if you are a Jew, because he said, I'm a Jew. The angel lied in this case and said, I'm a Jew. And then he asked him, from which tribe and all that stuff. He said, my name is Azariah, the son of Hananiah the Great. That's it. Then he was very happy, and he said, yes, I can accompany your son into this trip. So have you ever seen an angel in the Bible that lies? Why that? So you have to add this stuff. I will go. Number 6. Tobit and the whale. It says, let's read first here from the book of Leviticus, chapter 11. I'll summarize it because of the time. A Jew person, if you'd like to eat something that from the river or the sea or the ocean, must have fins and must have a scale. Otherwise, it is unclean to you. All right? This is very simple. Now, while they were in their way, what happened then? And Tobias went forward, and the dog followed them. Tobias went together with the angel, but he doesn't know he's an angel. And also, a dog went with them. Again, with a Jew, can he acquire a dog? Of course not. A dog is an unclean animal to a Jew. All right? Followed him. And he lodged at night by the river of Tigers. This is in Iraq. And he went out to wash his feet, like sort in the morning or whatever. And behold, a monstrous fish. He actually says fish, but in Arabic it translated it says whale. Anyway, came up and devour him. But actually, we cannot see that there is a great fish in the river, by the way. And if we say it is a whale, because at all times when they explain it, they say it's a whale. So a whale, you cannot eat it. A whale does not live in a river. A whale is, by the way, between 150 to 180 tons. And actually, when he's about to be attacked, then he will scream to the angel, but considering him, my brother is attacking me, then he will tell him, okay, catch him from his gill. And actually the whale doesn't have a gill. And then it says, actually he caught the fish or the whale. Actually in Arabic it says whale straight away. And even he pulled out to the dry land. How can a person pull out a whale that is 150 tons, 30 meters long? And after that, the angel will tell him, cut like the skin of it and get his heart and his and the liver and the gallbladder. The heart, by the way, itself is 600 kilos. The liver and the gallbladder is 1 ton, because in Arabic it says whale. And it says that he did like that. I'm not too sure actually which cutter did he use to cut through the skin of such a huge big thing. All right, and then they ate from it, which is not permitted for a Jew to eat whale, because whale doesn't have scale, by the way. And also, how did he know to get the heart and all that stuff? Then they ate from it. This is what does it say? And also they salted some for the way. All right. So all this is against the Jewish law, ceremonial stuff. And then Tobias will ask the angel, who does not know he's an angel. He knows his name by Azariah. What shall we do with the heart and the liver? He said, for the liver and the heart, if you put them on a fire, then the smoke will disperse any evil spirit that dwelling in a man or a woman. And for the gallbladder, its fluid is good for the eyes that had a problem with the coronalia. Anyway, it is something. It is a sickness, because I heard this explanation of this from one of the servant who is a doctor, that there is no cure for this sickness till now. All right. So far we've seen what? The angel lies. We've seen what? The Jews is having. He's a Jew. Meanwhile, he's accompanying a dog, which he cannot. He's eating a whale, which he cannot. And also he is he's telling him how to cast out demons, and by putting some stuff on a fire. Oh my goodness, this is totally black magic thing. All right. Now this is number 6. Now we move to item number 7. In their way, before they reached, they came across sort of a relative to them, where actually this person had a young girl named Sarah, and unfortunately, whenever she gets married in the very first night, the husband or the bride or the groom actually dies, and they found out that what happened is there is a demon or an evil spirit actually kills the bridegroom in the first night, and this happened already 7 times. However, Tobias was interested to marry this girl. All right. But they knew about the story, and even the father and the mother was very concerned about this. However, the angel told him, the first 3 days you continue apart, you stay away from each other, just praying together. Okay. And on the 3rd day, after the 3 days, on the fire, get part of the heart and the liver, throw it on the fire, then the evil spirit will be away. We can read this together. Okay. So it says after they had the dinner, Tobias get into the room with his bride, but he remembered like put on the fire the part of the heart and the part of the liver of the whale, and it says immediately he did this. Immediately the angel arrested the evil spirit and tightened him in Upper Egypt, and I'm not too sure whether he's still there or not. All right. So what do you reckon, dear brother and sister, about this? It's all about black magic, all right? It's all unclean ceremonial stuff. The angel is lying, and is it the way that you cast out demons? Like you get the fire and you put some stuff like from some sort of animals or anything like that? No. And number 8, we got a heresy here. It says, because charity saves from death and erases sins and qualifies a person to obtain mercy and eternal life. This is the Book of Tobit, chapter 12, verse 9. So this means what? There is no need for Jesus at all. I read this again so you can realize that. Because charity saves from death and erases sins. So if charity saves you from death and erases sins and qualifies the person to obtain mercy and eternal life, so then there is no need for Jesus to come, by the way. There is no need for the cross. Makes sense. So this book now got a heresy. Number 9. Now let's be careful about this, because now this is a KO. This is a knockout. In the book, chapter 14, there is a prophecy that we are going to read now, and we will go bit by bit on it, and we'll find actually it is definitely a false prophet, false prophecy. Okay. So as a start, we say now all the traditional people, they say the book of Ezra was written after the time of Ezra. Ezra was born year 480 before Christ, and he lived until 440 before BC. All right. Of course, you know, before Christ, the number goes down, not goes up. All right. So first of all, let's watch Father Daoud Lamei when he assures that Ezra collected all the books before him, and there was which did not have the Apocrypha books, which they say there was another like written later on or collected later on. Let's watch this and come back again.
في الطبعة اللي في ايدينا المعتادة. الأسفار القانونية الثانية دي اتجمعت بعد تجميعة عزرا. احنا درسنا سفر عزرا وعرفنا ان عزرا هو اللي جمع الأسفار اللي قبل منه.
Alright, according to the video, he says now the book of Tobit was written after the canonical books that we have at the moment between in our hands, without the Apocrypha books, which Tobit is one of them. Alright, Ezra, as we mentioned now, was born 480 and died 440. Okay. Now let's read now the prophecy from the book of Tobit, chapter 14, to expose all the lies there, and we find out it is a myth. It is not really a story. Now, the prophecy says the destruction of Nineveh is near. What is Nineveh? Nineveh is the capital city of the empire of Assyria at his time. But he says now the destruction of Nineveh is near. because the word of the Lord does not go in vain, and our brothers who are scattered from the land of Israel shall return to it, and all its desolated land will be filled, and the house of God that was burned in it will resume its construction, and all those who fear God will return there, and the nations will leave their idols and go to Jerusalem and reside there. There are plenty of mistakes here, by the way. Okay, now let's comment on this. We, in the beginning of this episode, we proved that the writer of the book is from the northern state, not from the southern state, and he was exiled into Assyria, which the capital city is Nineveh, and that was year 722 when it happened, but maybe he went after that, of course, or mostly. And so definitely he is from the northern state, not the southern one. Number 2 in this, he says the destruction of Nineveh is near. Actually, Nineveh was destroyed by the Babylonian new empire, and that was year 612 before Christ. Okay, so this is 612. So actually, he wrote his book either 612 as the maximum, or definitely he says near. So consider it before that, to say it was 620. Makes sense, all right? Is near. Okay, make it 620. So he is writing his book and his prophecy nearly, you can say 620. But Ezra was born, by the way, 480. So Ezra was born about at least 130, if not 150 years before that. So definitely it was written before the book of, before Ezra even was born. All right. Although they say, no, it was happened later, and no, it can't be happened later. If it happened later, this is a different story. All right. Okay. Therefore, it was written definitely at least 130, could be 150 years before even the birth of Ezra. Also, so accordingly, it was written before Ezra. So either it was a myth was written far away later after that, but according to what's in there, it should be written before that. So actually, it is either could be a false prophet, because he's saying some stuff that is not fitting there, and maybe Ezra found it is not a good book or a canonical book, so he actually excluded it. All right. Now let's watch together a table to make it easy for us to understand. All right, so let's watch this together. Okay, watch together. Sorry, I'll go from right to the left, not the vice versa, because I did it both in Arabic and English. Can you see? On the right it says Old Testament, we go up to the New Testament. So we start from the right side. Okay, so number 1, it says year 722 BC. This is where the exile to Assyria of the 10 tribes of the northern city, the northern state. Now, second one next to it, and we say just before 612 BC, when actually Tobias wrote his book. All right, because he says the destruction of Nineveh is near, which happened in the third column, 612. So we say when he was talking or writing, could be 620, and now can you see now going to 612. Now the burning of the house of God, which is the Solomon temple, actually took place in year 586 before Christ, and Ezra is even after that, 480 to 440 BC, and after that the birth of Jesus. Now I come back again, and we try to understand this. Now let's go back again to the prophecy. He said the destruction of Nineveh is near. Okay, now understand definitely he is about 620. because of the word cannot go on. And our brothers who were scattered from the land of Israel shall return to it. Actually, they did not come back to it until today. So it didn't happen. And now they are scattered everywhere in the world, some in Eastern Europe, some even still in Russia. And by the way, some of them are the Assyrian people. You know, sometimes you hear the Assyrian Church of the East, the Nestorians. These Nestorian people are remainings, like the part of those 10 tribes. So all those brothers and sisters call themselves Assyrians are part of those 10 tribes, by the way. I heard this from two very strong historian researchers from the church even. All right, let's continue now. So actually they didn't come back as he said they will come back. Now listen to this. And its desolated land will be filled. It didn't happen. Now listen to this. And the house of God that was burned in it. No, dear friend, at year 612 or before that, like 620, the first of all, the house of God was not in the northern state. It's in the southern state. And as we've seen in this in the table before, it was burned year 586 by the Babylonian people. But he says, and the house of God that was burned in it. No, it is not in it. It was not on the northern one. It was on the southern one. And at year 612 or before that was not burned yet. So it's all wrong. Now, let's continue. We'll resume its construction. No, it was at year 612 or 620. The house of the Lord was still exist until burned in year 586. So if you say, so he took 20 years at least after that, the first exile wave happened. So this to show that he is a false prophet, but I think it is a myth story, like a fairy tale. And all those who fear God will return there. No, they didn't go back yet. And the nations will leave their idols and go to Jerusalem and reside in it. No, it didn't happen. So out of this we understand now. What do you understand from this? It's all fake stuff. It's a fairy tale, definitely. It is not a true story at all. So all what is said, so it's all wrong. All how can what is it? An angel lie, all right? And how can a Jew accompany a dog? No, can't. To eat a whale? No, you cannot. And even physically, you cannot do it. And all these prophecies are wrong, and it didn't happen. And he was not. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Now forget about Ezra and Tobias and all the stuff. Tell me, in the light of what we just mentioned now, what do you reckon? Who wrote this? Do you reckon even if he is actually written by someone, he is a false prophet and he doesn't know? And I think if like that, he's not even a Jew because all these mistakes, and he doesn't know the history. Dear brother and sister, listen to this now. In the second epistle of St. Peter, chapter 2, verse 1. But there were also false prophets among the people, even as there will be false teachers among you. They are breathing lies, who will secretly bring in destructive heresies. So this is the situation. So dear brother and sister, when we say they are liars, actually this is the title the Bible gives to them. But for the good ones, they are called either bishops or they are called elders, as we've seen before, or good teachers. But those ones are actually liars. So when we say they are liars, when we say the breathing lie, actually this is the title the Bible gives them. So what do you reckon now? And now I'll ask you one more question. Why the traditional people are fighting for these books? They are promoting the lies. Why? Because they are, as the Bible says, they are what? They are among you false teachers. False teachers. So this situation when we are now. So if you think it's too much information, maybe watch the episode one more time, compare it with the text itself, and see what happens. All right. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Share the video with others. Give it a like if you think it's worth it. And unless the Lord comes, we'll meet again another episode. May the Lord bless you all. سلام المسيح معكم.